What if I told you the biggest mistake most people make in life is not chasing money, but measuring their worth by it? Stay with me until the end, because the final lessons will truly change the way you see success, yourself, and your future. Let me begin with a truth that changed the way I see success. And I want you to listen to this, not just with your mind, but with your heart. Your worth is not a number, not your salary, not your bank balance, not the price tag of what you wear or the car you drive. Because money is a tool, a resource, a form of exchange, but it is not your identity. And the moment you start measuring your value by numbers, you hand over the power of your self-worth to circumstances that will never be stable. Think about this for a moment. Numbers go up, numbers go down, markets change, industries shift, opportunities come and go, and if your sense of self rises and falls with those fluctuations, then your confidence will always be fragile. I remember phases in my own journey where success was being calculated constantly. Opening numbers, contracts, rankings, comparisons. And there were moments when everything looked strong on paper, but inside, there was a quiet anxiety, a pressure to maintain, to prove, to keep the numbers growing. And that is when I realized something profound. When you attach your identity to outcomes, you stop living freely and start performing for validation. And that pressure, that invisible weight, is something so many people carry today. Maybe you felt it when your income doesn't match your expectations, when someone your age is earning more, when you scroll through social media and it feels like everyone else is moving faster, achieving bigger, living better. Slowly, without even noticing, you begin to ask yourself a dangerous question. Am I enough? And that is where the real problem begins. Because your worth was never meant to be evaluated by comparison or currency. Your worth lives in your courage to keep going when things don't work out, in your ability to learn, adapt, and grow, in your kindness when no one is watching, in your discipline when motivation disappears, in your integrity when shortcuts are available, but you choose the harder, honest path. Money cannot measure resilience. Money cannot measure character. Money cannot measure the strength it takes to rebuild your confidence after failure, or the quiet victories no one applauds. Imagine a tree for a moment. People admire the height, the branches, the fruits, but what truly determines its strength are the roots hidden underground. Your skills, your mindset, your emotional strength, your values, these are your roots. Money is just the fruit. And if you focus only on the fruit without strengthening the roots, the first storm of life will shake everything you built. But when your roots are deep, strong, and grounded, even difficult seasons cannot break you. This is why some people lose everything financially and still rise again, stronger than before, while others gain wealth and still feel insecure, anxious, and empty. Because true value is internal before it ever becomes external. And here is the spiritual layer of this lesson. You were born valuable before you earned your first rupee, before your first job, before any achievement. Your existence itself carries worth. Your potential, your consciousness, your ability to create, to love, to grow. That is your real wealth. When you forget this, you start chasing money from a place of fear. When you remember this, you start building your life from a place of power. There is a difference between earning money because you feel incomplete and earning money because you are expanding your purpose. One comes from insecurity, the other comes from self-respect, and the energy behind your actions changes everything. Have you ever noticed how people who are desperate for money often make rush decisions, accept environments that drain them, tolerate disrespect, or compromise their peace? That happens when survival becomes identity. But when you know your worth beyond money, you choose differently. You negotiate differently. You walk away when necessary. You invest in growth instead of quick gains. And most importantly, you stop panicking when progress is slow, because your confidence is no longer tied to immediate results. Let me give you a simple example. Think about a time when you failed at something financially. Maybe a business didn't work. Maybe a job didn't pay what you expected. Maybe your income dropped. Did your intelligence disappear? Did your talent disappear? Did your ability to grow disappear? No. The number changed, but the person did not. And yet, so often, we let temporary financial situations define permanent beliefs about ourselves. That is the illusion we must break. Because once you internalize this lesson, something powerful happens. You stop chasing money blindly and start building value consciously. And here is the paradox of life. When you focus on becoming valuable, money eventually follows. But when you focus only on money, you often lose both peace and purpose. So the question is not, how much am I earning right now? The deeper question is, am I becoming more capable, more skilled, more emotionally strong, more aware than I was yesterday? Because income is a delayed reflection of personal growth. And if growth continues, numbers will eventually catch up. But if growth stops, even high income cannot last. Now, I want you to reflect honestly. How many times have you delayed your happiness until you reach a certain financial milestone? I'll relax when I earn this much. I'll feel confident when I save this amount. I'll feel successful when I reach that level. But life doesn't work that way. If you don't learn to value yourself now, you won't value yourself then. Because self-worth is a mindset, not a milestone. And this is why some people earn more, but still feel behind, still feel insecure, still feel like it's not enough. The gap is not financial. The gap is internal. So starting today, shift your focus. Respect your effort, not just your results. Celebrate your learning, not just your earnings. Recognize your progress, even when the numbers are small. Because the person you are becoming matters far more than the money you are making today. And I want you to stay with this journey. Really, stay with it. Because what we're uncovering here is only the beginning. The lessons ahead go deeper into comparison, purpose, self-investment, and the mindset that truly transforms your life. And if this first truth has already made you pause and reflect, then trust me, the next insights will challenge you, strengthen you, and possibly change the way you define success forever. So don't drift away, don't skip ahead, because the most powerful realizations are still coming. And by the time we reach the final points, you may never look at money or your own worth the same way again. There is a silent habit that steals more confidence, more peace, and more joy than failure ever could. And that habit is comparison. Because the moment you begin measuring your journey against someone else's, you slowly disconnect from your own path, your own timing, and your own purpose. I want you to think about how often this happens without you even realizing it. You wake up, you check your phone, and within seconds, you are looking at someone who just got promoted, someone who bought a house, someone who launched a business, someone traveling, someone celebrating a milestone. And suddenly, your own progress, which may actually be meaningful and real, starts to feel small. Nothing in your life changed in that moment, but your perception did. And that is the danger of comparison. It doesn't just make you aware of someone else's success. It makes you question your own worth. I've experienced this myself in different phases of my career. especially when stepping into new spaces, new industries, new countries. There were moments when I was the newcomer, the outsider, the one starting from scratch, while others seemed established and ahead. And I remember thinking, am I late? Am I behind? Am I doing enough? But over time, I realized something powerful. Comparison is built on incomplete information. You are comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You are comparing your struggle phase to someone else's breakthrough phase. You are comparing your beginning to someone else's middle or even their ending. And that comparison is not just unfair, it is inaccurate. Life is not a race with a single timeline. Life is a collection of individual journeys, each shaped by different opportunities, different challenges, different lessons, and different purposes. Imagine a garden for a moment. Some flowers bloom in a few weeks. Some trees take years before they even grow tall enough to be noticed. But would you ever stand in a garden and tell a tree it is failing because it didn't bloom as fast as a flower? Of course not. Because growth has its own rhythm. And yet, this is exactly what we do to ourselves. We forget that our journey is unfolding according to experiences that are preparing us for something specific, something unique, something only we are meant to build or become. When you compare timelines, you ignore preparation. When you compare results, you ignore context. And when you compare constantly, you shift your focus away from growth and toward competition. Instead of asking, how can I improve? You start asking, why am I not where they are? That subtle shift drains your energy, your creativity, and your confidence. Comparison also creates a dangerous illusion. The illusion that success is limited, that someone else's achievement somehow reduces your possibilities. But success is not a limited resource. Someone else's growth does not block your path. Someone else's progress does not delay your timing. Your journey is influenced far more by your consistency, your learning, your mindset, and your patience than by what anyone else is doing. And there is another spiritual truth here that many people overlook. Comparison disconnects you from gratitude. The moment you focus on what others have, you stop seeing what you have. You stop appreciating your progress, your skills, your resilience, your small wins. And gratitude is the foundation of confidence. Without it, nothing ever feels like enough. I've met incredibly successful people who still feel behind, still feel insecure, still feel like they are not doing enough, not because they lack achievement, but because they never learn to measure their growth against their own past instead of someone else's present. That is the shift that changes everything. Instead of looking sideways, look backward. Are you stronger than you were last year? More aware, more skilled, more disciplined, more emotionally resilient? If the answer is yes, then you are moving forward. And that is the only comparison that truly matters. Let me give you a real-life example. Think about two people starting their careers at the same time. One gets a high-paying job immediately. The other struggles, switches paths, learns new skills, faces rejection, and takes longer to stabilize. On the surface, the first person seems ahead. But years later, the second person may have deeper skills, stronger resilience, broader experience, and greater adaptability. What looked like delay was actually preparation. And this is why your timing cannot be judged by someone else's milestones. Sometimes life slows you down, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Sometimes the detours you resist are the experiences that build the strength you will need later. But if you keep comparing, you will see delay instead of development, struggle instead of growth, preparation instead of progress. And comparison does something even more harmful. It pulls you away from your purpose. When you start chasing what others are doing, you may end up building a life that looks successful from the outside but feels empty on the inside. Because you are no longer following your calling. You are following trends. Real fulfillment comes from alignment, not imitation. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your original voice, your unique combination of experiences, talents, and perspective. And that originality can only emerge when you stop looking sideways and start looking inward. Now I want you to notice something practical. The next time you feel comparison creeping in, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. What am I feeling right now? What am I afraid I'm lacking? And what small step can I take today to improve my own path? This shifts you from envy to action, from insecurity to growth. Because the goal is not to avoid seeing others succeed. The goal is to let their success inspire you without making you doubt yourself. Celebrate others, but stay committed to your own timeline. Learn from others, but don't measure yourself against them. And most importantly, protect your mental space. If certain platforms, conversations, or environments constantly trigger comparison, create distance, your focus is your most valuable resource. And where you place it determines the quality of your life. When you reclaim your focus, something beautiful happens. You move at your natural pace. You make decisions based on alignment instead of pressure. You build confidence from progress instead of approval. And you begin to trust that your journey is unfolding exactly as it needs to. But stay with me here, because this realization is only one step in a much deeper transformation. If this truth about comparison has already made you reflect, then I want you to keep listening closely, because the lessons ahead go even deeper into purpose, self-investment, and the mindset that separates external success from true fulfillment. The next insights will challenge the way you think about money, ambition, and happiness. And if you miss the final points, you may miss the most powerful shift of all. So don't rush past this moment. Absorb it, reflect on it, and stay with this journey. Because what comes next may change not just how you measure success, but how you experience your entire life. There is a truth that many people don't realize until they reach a place they once dreamed of. And it is this: if money is your only goal, the life you build around it will eventually feel empty, no matter how successful it looks from the outside. In the beginning, the chase feels exciting. The promotions, the raises, the milestones, the recognition. Each achievement feels like a step closer to happiness. You tell yourself, once I reach this level, I'll finally relax. Once I earn this much, I'll feel secure. Once I achieve that, I'll be satisfied. But what most people don't expect is what happens after they arrive. The number increases, the lifestyle improves, the external signs of success appear, and yet there is a quiet question that starts echoing inside. Is this all? I've met people across industries and across the world who have everything money can buy: comfort, luxury, influence, stability, and yet they feel restless, disconnected, even lost. Not because money is wrong, but because money without meaning cannot fill the deeper spaces of the human spirit. Think about it this way. Money can buy a beautiful house, but it cannot create a sense of belonging. It can buy a vacation, but it cannot give you peace of mind. It can buy comfort, but it cannot give you purpose. And purpose is the oxygen of a fulfilling life. Without it, even success begins to feel heavy. When your entire identity revolves around earning, achieving, and accumulating, life becomes a never-ending race with no finish line. Every milestone quickly turns into the next target. Every achievement loses its excitement faster than the previous one. Because the human mind adapts quickly to external rewards, but it does not find lasting fulfillment in them. Fulfillment comes from growth, contribution, learning, and becoming. From knowing that what you are doing matters beyond just financial gain. I remember a phase in my own journey when everything looked busy, productive, and successful. But I had to pause and ask myself a difficult question. Am I just working or am I growing? Am I just achieving or am I evolving? That moment of reflection is something I want you to have early, before the chase becomes automatic. Because there is nothing wrong with ambition, nothing wrong with wanting financial stability or success, but when money becomes the only measure of progress, you risk building a life that looks impressive but feels empty. Imagine building a beautiful building without a foundation. From the outside, it may look strong and complete, but inside, there is instability, cracks, tension. Purpose is that foundation. It answers the deeper questions. Why am I doing this? Who am I becoming through this work? How is this adding meaning to my life or to someone else's? Without those answers, success becomes mechanical. You wake up, work, earn, spend, repeat, and slowly life becomes routine instead of meaningful. And here is the spiritual layer of this lesson. Human beings are not designed only to accumulate. We are designed to grow, to create, to contribute, to evolve. When your work aligns with growth and contribution, energy flows differently. You feel engaged instead of exhausted. You feel challenged instead of drained. You feel connected instead of empty. But when money is the only driver, motivation eventually turns into pressure. Every decision becomes transactional. Every opportunity is evaluated only by its financial return. And over time, this mindset quietly removes joy from the process. You stop asking, is this meaningful? And start asking only, is this profitable? That shift may increase income in the short term, but it reduces fulfillment in the long term. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine two people doing the same job. One sees it only as a paycheck. The other sees it as a chance to learn, to improve skills, to build relationships, to grow personally and professionally. Even if their income is the same, their experience of life will be completely different. One feels stuck and exhausted. The other feels engaged and evolving. The difference is purpose. And here is something many people overlook. When you focus on growth and value instead of just money, financial success often follows naturally because growth increases your capability. Capability increases your impact, and impact increases your earning potential. But when you chase money without growth, you may earn temporarily, but you don't build the foundation needed for long-term success. This is why some people earn a lot, but feel constantly anxious about losing it, while others steadily grow, both financially and personally. Over time, their focus is not just earning, it is becoming. Now I want you to pause and reflect honestly. If money disappeared from your current goal for a moment, what would you still want to learn? What would you still want to build? What kind of person would you still want to become? That answer points toward your deeper purpose, because the most fulfilling careers and lives are built at the intersection of growth, contribution, and sustainability, where you are not only earning but also evolving. And there is another danger of chasing money alone. It can slowly disconnect you from your relationships, your health, your inner peace. When every hour is evaluated in terms of financial productivity, you begin to sacrifice the very things that give life meaning. Time with family becomes lost time. Rest feels like laziness. Reflection feels unnecessary. But success that costs your health, your relationships, or your peace is not success, it is imbalance. Real success feels expansive, not restrictive. It adds to your life, not just to your account. And here is something powerful to remember. The most successful people in the long run are not the ones who chase money the hardest. They are the ones who build value, meaning, and resilience over time. Because money flows toward value. It flows toward people who solve problems, who create impact, who keep growing even when no immediate reward is visible. So instead of asking, how can I make more money quickly?